coach live stream. We're not going to make this one too long. Break out some of this. So today's topic of the show, and you guys need some help on this. Are you screwing up all your hard work, all the work you've been doing? Are you screwing it up? Have you been lied to about the dry and cure process? Have you been confused about the dry and cure process? And are you ready to listen to someone that actually knows how to do the dry cure process? Now, I ain't going to waste any time in this video, but first we're going to take a rip. And I can tell you one thing. I'm kind of PO'd at this YouTube company and just their insane radical policy towards my account, while seemingly not screwing with anyone else. But whatever. Apparently, we're going to be breaking up some of this high cultivar. And again, I only need to do tiny little bits like this at this point. Stuff's insanely potent. Just to let's just take this rip and we'll get right into some of these videos. I'll show you some of the processes of the dry and the cure, and how the bud turns out. Just for people who see this in the future and they are growing my high cultivar and they want to know the proper procedure to do with it, you know. All right. We got some. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. Let's do a little bit more. Take another little rip. We got some nice snow outside. It's been raining all night, all morning. Finally started to snow. Looks like it's about, say you take a slice of a golf ball. It looks like that. Pretty big size, but it's not like, you know, real thick. All right. Sprouts. I went out there. I looked at the seedlings and the sprouts. They're doing good. Got more popping up. Again, not going to need any of the ones popping up, but that shit out there, that's on autopilot. This year, I'm focusing on the high cultivar. We'll get into exactly these photos right here, these videos. All right, so here we go. I'm going to show you this video, and we're going to see diamonds inside the bud, sparkles inside the bud, diamond sparkles in this shit. Let's just play it out for you. Now look at that shine right there. Look at the shine. Of course, I'm going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I keep missing it. Look at that. It's all shiny in there, man. All shiny. Look at that sparkle. So this is after the plant was dried and cured. But I would believe it was before the jars. So we're talking probably like over a month, maybe 2 months around. And we use these Reynolds Cherokee vape bags. Again, it's all about the quality of the weed when it comes down to getting it to do what I get mine to do, but the curing process will still work. So now with the curing process, I mean, the dry process you want, like, so what did I do? How much humidity did I have? How cold was it? You're going to find that when you run your humidifier, how cold your temperature is will change the humidity. So it'll kind of like fix itself. What I had was a nice, I was within like 40 degrees to like 50 degrees, almost the entire dry. And I had the humidifier running and my AC running. And my AC would pick up the extra humidity in the air, and it would put ice all over the whatchamacallit, the filter for my air conditioner. It would be covered in ice. I'd always have to defrost it. So the ice was defrosted, and then I had dried. Now it stayed in the dry process. It differed. It differed. Now here you're gonna see this right here. I mean, some of it 12 days, some of it 15 days, some of it 7 days. Let's look here. Now see that gooping right there. See the goop right there? That's not a trike, dude. That's goop. See it? See what the weed's doing, man. So it's completely filled with rosin, completely filled with that. Just stuffed with it. Absolutely stuffed with it. And I have another video. I should have gotten that one of just the goop. There's another video of goop, and that was like a more different colored goop. But so here we see this. Now this stuff like this then goes into the jars, right? Look at that. So that's what we got there. Now on this dry part, you don't want too dry, you don't want too wet. You want to keep it in the dry process for a long time, you know what I mean? Because you're not drying it too quick and you're not drying it too slow, right? As you see, the plant, um, it hasn't completely broken down. Um, you can see you can still see color of the plant material. And the shrinking process has fully yet been completed. So let's just let this play out like this. So now you're seeing this video. This is after it was finished, the curing process in the jar. The jar curing process. And with this, you're going to see ribbons of THC. So this is how you cure something that's going to be over 50% THC. Now, the thing is with this, like, of course, 50% THC, when you first cut it off the plant and you first dry it, the plant material is hasn't shrunk down, hasn't just disappeared with the amount of just shrinking it does. And you'll notice like different things shrink more than others. You'll have to find the exact cultivar that they use or that's good to shrink. There's a cultivar and then there's a phenotype. The cultivar will be like, you know, the potency. There's a phenotype in there. If you get the magic phenotype, you're going to get like insane shrinkage. And you'll know this because your other plants you did the exact same thing with, maybe of the same even phenotype, didn't perform the same shrink that's going on. Now it's genetic. The genetics, I don't know why, but they want to shrink. It wants to shrink on a specific phenotype, and I've grown it so many times and it's always shrunk. Now you might ask yourself, why haven't I gotten like as good of results as this before? Well, I've in fact said I've gotten results like this, but also I became a better grower. I'm growing weed better. And growing weed better now, like, it's like literally changed the game. You know what I mean? So I can finally see what my strains actually produce and can do. And this was a pleasant surprise on this one. I always knew it was like the most potent weed I ever had. And I've seen things that like I can't explain. But it wasn't until this. We can watch this one next. I just want to. Now you hear the snap of it. Oh, I missed it. Look at that. See that? Look at that. Look at the Snickers bar strands of THC just pulling from this thing. Look at that. Look at the THC on this thing. You see that? Let's hear that snap again. Hear it? It's got a nice snap to it. Now, too bad my focus wasn't good, but in real life, it's so clear to see. It's so amazingly clear. But it's kind of difficult to film it. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. It's just like gummy. Look at that. It's like taffy. It's like those candies you get on Valentine's Day. They're just full of caramel. Now this was after the cure in the jars. When you get it to shrink even more. And as it's shrinking, it just gets more and more. The percentage of THC per plant material goes up and up and up and up. And that's how I was able to do it and get 50% THC, or might even be more than that. I don't know, man. When I look at this under like a magnifier, I can't see any plant material anymore. The plant material is almost unrecognizable. You can't see it really. And it's just all this like trike shit and like rosin and all these different things. And look at that. This was also harvested a little early. I didn't wait till the amber did its thing like everyone's waiting for. Like, dude, man, you're overdoing it. The process of converting the compounds in the plant occur during the dry and the cure. That's another thing I'm trying to tell people. Which is why their bud goes bad when they try drying and curing it. Unbelievable. We can break some more up, talk about some more issues with the dry and the cure that you might have. You do not want mold. You do not want mold. Let me repeat this again. You do not want mold. You got to be on top of the jars. You got to be on top of everything. You don't want the moisture to be in there too long, but then again, you don't want too much moisture to leave there. That part of this whole thing I'm trying to teach you guys is the hardest part for me to teach. is about like knowing when you need to burp your jars, and not just burp. In some cases, you might want to dump the whole jar out, or roll all the part of the bag down and just keep the bag open with the weed in it. And then every now and then, like, mix it with your hands. I know it screws up the outside of the fucking bud, but I mean, when you got it all straight through like this, it's crazy. So I mean, that you gotta do that. You gotta watch out for that. And again, like I said, when you harvest your plant, this is a very important step. When you're harvesting your plants, you want to make sure you cut a specific amount. You want at least like a foot, no more than a foot of the plant stem with the buds on it, whether it be a cola, whether it be anything like that. You want a 1 foot stick. Cut it right off. That 1 foot stick. You're not done with that one part you just cut off. You now gotta trim every single bit of leaf off that plant. Do it in your garden. Trim it in your garden, let it all fall to the ground. I don't save any of my trim, but whatever. If you do, you can collect it. Cut all of it off, as much as you can, and then stick it in a bucket. And move on, and keep doing that, and keep doing that, and keep doing it. And when you get completely exhausted, you can't do any more left, stop cutting them down. And do more tomorrow. Not only are you keeping your bud fresh on the plant, ready for that fresh trim, but no, that's precisely it. You're keeping your bud fresh on the plant, ready for that fresh trim, and you're not rushing any process by, I'll cut it all down because I can't wait another day because I over-ripened it. You don't want to over-ripen it, because then you won't be able to do this, and you'll be in a rush mode, and you'll never get your trim done. So you do it like that. You get all your weed trimmed out, and then you hang it in your dry room. I like to hang them on a fishing wire or a rope, depending upon how heavy your line needs to hold, and you just kind of space them out. And when you get the buds and the colas and they're really tight to the stick, you want to kind of pull them off the stick. You know what I mean? Pull it off, bend them out, and that. You want to examine all your buds when you're doing the first fresh trim. Anything that looks damaged, I'm not kidding. If you have a damaged part of the bud that you accidentally fucked up, you fucked it up when you're cutting it and trimming it and stuff, or you like fucked the bud up by like damaging it, you squished it by mistake, you did something stupid to that bud. You gotta cut that part off and you gotta set it aside. You're gonna dry that separately, and it's good weed. I mean, like I said, you damage the bud, it's still good. What you don't want to have happen is you don't want to put damaged bud into your dry cure room or your dry room, because that dried part is going to it's when it dries, like the plant's still alive, so you got damaged plant material that's going to get started in the process of dying, which means it's not going to be in the drying process, it's going to be in the dying process, and that may compromise you in the drying cure later down the line, if you actually have a little bit of excess moisture in anything you've got, that can compromise you. And so that's what you want to do. You want to make sure everything's perfect, every bud looks perfect, and that's what you put in the jars. That's how you can be precisely, and you can know that your shit's nice and clean. You examine it all, you remove anything, like you're outdoors, you look at it under a little magnifier and remove anything that, like, sometimes you'll get these little, like, tree seed things that get on it. You never know what could be on it, right? So you do that, And that's how you want to get your plants cut off the plants. That's how you want to do it. You don't want to mess around screwing around with your plants once they're already in the dry process, trying to trim the leaf off. And I'll tell you why you don't want to do it, because it does hamper the overall shape and look of the bud, and it will hamper your shrinkage. If in fact you got a plant that does shrinkage, if you can find one that does shrinkage, this is vital for it. It's what you must do when growing this specific cultivar. When you get your hands on it, you have got to wet trim it as much as possible, because those little leaf stems, those tiny baby leaves, those little things, those little stem things on it, they'll all like hold the plant back, and then the leaves that like cup over the buds, those will like just prevent the bud itself from being able to like properly dry and shape itself and like shrink itself down, because the leaf does something with the moisture and it prevents like all that stuff. I know it may seem like easier for you. Oh my God, I don't want my bud to go bad. I grew it till it's almost like gonna go. It's like as ripe as it can get. Then see, that's when you're in the panic mode. You can't. You're gonna be in such panic mode that you're gonna just want to cut the whole thing down and try to dry it all as fast as possible, or not as fast as possible, but you just want it all dried out. And you're like, I can't even wait a few days. No, you want to do it a little early, because it doesn't matter. It's not going to affect it. Those little trike little heads, they're so small and inconsistent. They're so small and fuck this word, inconsistent with what is actually the actual THC that can convert during the dry and cure. So, in my book, it's better to have a fresher flower that the dry and cure process, once it's all cloudy, maybe you have a few golden or red heads, but you don't need like to do it as much as you guys are doing it, because the dry and the cure is where the magic happens. And as you see in this video that I'm showing you, I'm showing you the process of what's going on inside of it. That potency was always in this bud. It was always in the bud. But the difference is the plant material shrunk, and it kept condensing and shrinking and kept condensing and shrinking, making less plant material, lighter plant material, whereas the THC and the cannabinoids and all that stuff all stays in there, and it just condenses into more potency. It becomes more potent. So I remember, I don't know if Twisted Roots even reads my comments I write to him, but he's like a witness to this. I think it was like last year. I just this thing just sprung into my brain, and I remember I wrote to him on his like comment section about me having the belief that like we could get like really high potent cannabis with this like shrinkage, and getting the bud to just shrink itself, so that like you have a big bud and it has like high potent weed, but then it shrinks and the plant material shrinks, allowing the bud to be smaller but condensed with more THC. End user doesn't give a shit about like anything like the grower has to worry about. He just sees the bud with the high potency. He's not seeing it from the grower's standpoint. Oh my God, that big top shrunk into that? No, 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 no. Yes, that big top shrunk into that. And now that shit is some new product that's like, shit, 50% or more THC. I'm trying to think how much THC could possibly get in one of these. And I've come to the thought, just with my idea, my mind is like coming to the idea of maybe 65 to 70%, maybe an 80% would be the ultimate cap. that you got on the weed. Now I remember in Twisted Root, the thing I commented Twisted Roots, I did think that a smaller, like smaller weeds, smaller buds that are just covered in frost, maybe the size of a pea. I also had the idea. Something the size of a pea grown on a plant, but it was just covered in frost. But if you had a pound of it, you'd have a pound of this bud that was just like, I don't know, like 90% weed, 90% THC bud. But it's just like grew like tiny and weird. But this is like kind of like shrinking. So taking something big and it's shrinking. Now I've tried to shrink the other phenos and the other stuff. I've tried hard to shrink it. But again, to no real avail, man. It's definitely a genetic thing. See that seed? Look at the string on that. Look at that. You could even see it start when I first rip it open. See it when I ripped it? It does. See, it does pull apart like a Snickers bar when I rip it. It's just hard to catch the first one because I'm moving. But here we got the magic of me catching it. Watch. See that? See that? So it does stretch when you first break it. It's not me slamming it together and yanking it out. That's just me showing it over and over, like the way it does. So as you saw there, I mean, absolutely beautiful. Wait, zoom in on it again. There's the seed to prove that this is, again, this is seeded bud. This cannabis is seeded. And it's still producing this. This is why I'm saying I believe it can get even higher potency. I can get even better effects on this. All right, let's pause it like there. Now you can see up over there, like the little tiny baby leaf I missed, maybe a few baby leaves. All those can be trimmed off, though. Look into the structure of like the other parts around it. And you'll look and you'll say, like, that used to be the bud. But the bud shrunk. And it shrunk and it shrunk. But the bud's like a kush. Because one of the plants in the cross is a kush. It produces this trichomes. From the first starter flower all the way to the end. So it's getting them throughout the entire bud structure. And then when it shrinks, it's just condensing it all in. Plus the cake that you get on the top and around and in. And it just shrinks. Hold on, I'll be back. Sorry about that. I had to tend to my fireplace going on over there. I heard a big pop. If you heard that big bang, I just wanted to check on it. All right, so as I was saying, you look at the structure around this plant, and look at these little long structures like that. I have no idea what that is. To tell you the truth, I have no idea what that is. For me, it looks like there's some sort of like there was a structure to the bud. There was a structure to it. And I think this is like the branching. This is the actual, like the flowers, like it's not stick. That's the thing. It's like the flower shrunk and then it was left with all these weird vein things. But it's like the trikes or something did it when it pulled. So that's like rosin, like, and it all like combined into the frigging bud. And when I noticed with the shrinkage that went on here, when I would pop the jars, I mean, there was a video I tried to catch the pop, and I couldn't catch the pop. And I believe it had to do with like the sound. I think it did pop, but the way I did it, I screwed it up. You know what I mean? I might have let the jar like I don't know, warm up. I'm not sure. There was something happened where it didn't pop, but I was getting pops, straight pops when you open it, and I wasn't pressurizing it. So I was like, "What's going on here? These buds are popping. Like it's like the jars pop. There's pressure in there. I was always wondering, and then the popping kind of stopped, you know, because you go in it all the time. But then I noticed it just kept shrinking and shrinking. And what happened is these like little like bud parts. They're look at them. They're kind of like gone. When you look at the what it looked like when it was alive and first cut, I wish I documented it more. You know, that's my own fault, I guess. I tried looking for some video that just on this that I might have saved, but apparently I might have just deleted them for space, so they would be on my actual videos on my YouTube page. The problem with that is the compression YouTube does to my videos. It makes it difficult for me to re-show a compressed video that's then going to get compressed again. So it's easier for me to like zoom in on the actual video and then re-show that. And look at that. Good. So when you look at it, even on the inside of this, and we can look when it's moving. I mean, that's it snapped. It's you can see all the trike heads, like everything's all intact. You can't see much green at all. It's like the rosin got a green tint to it because when it got so dry and compressed and everything compressed, it might have crumbled the bud into the actual rosin. And it's like a moon rock. I swear they're like moon rocks. And it's a shame the shit was so good. It's all I smoked from like October to now, and like sad to say, it's a crying shame I let all that bud go bad outside just for seed that like, bro, am I really gonna even use that seed now or do it? You know what I mean? Like I noticed a lot of the seed went bad, you know what I mean? I did get some sprouts on the ground, so I guess it did something, you know what I mean? I sacrificed it to get the snowweed plant up there. But then I'm thinking, I got that plant out there. I mean, I like it. I'm gonna let that wild spot keep going, but like, as far as breeding and doing the other shit, dude, I don't know, man. I'm gonna let that do it out there, but I gotta focus on this strain, man. If this is like the only one I really want to smoke, then why am I growing anything else? You know what I mean? And look at the quality of it, right? Why would I like grow one of these plants a year? I just like you know what I mean? I go trying to pop the other phenotypes of the seeds that I got from the fem cross I did to create this, because it was an all fem cross I did. And that was done in a tent. And I used colloidal silver, and then after I sprayed them with colloidal silver, I hit them with a magnetic pulsar device. And now thinking about that, I mean, that's, you know, you use the wrong pulse of the magnet, it's going to be detrimental. It's not going to be something positive for the plant or whatever, the development of whatever. So I took the feminized pollen. I just let them pollinate themselves in the tent. And I was left with my two crosses. One, it had the fem beans of the pure cross. The other was this mix. I went and did this cross because I was like, I need something that like fixes the brain. I know other people on other YouTube channels have said the same thing, that they've been searching for this and trying to do it. And we were all doing the same thing. I would say we're all trying the same. It's a noble thing. But this is what I tried to do for my thing. I tried. So I wanted a weed that hit so fucking hard to the head. It seriously potent, hits insanely hard to the head. So I took the one I had, and like it was something I've had for a while that I've been cloning, and it was something I couldn't even smoke. I was unable to smoke this strain because every time I grew it, it was just so potent. It like you could feel so much shit rush into your brain. You ever have that strain where you can there's different strains. Some you can feel it drain, and others you can feel that stuff fill up. So the stuff, it just like was insane. It just made it like fill up so insane, and it like gave me like a headache. I would even say headaches every time. I said, was it when I fed it? Was it when I grew it? So I kept giving it. Did all natural? Nope. The strain just gives you a fucking headache because it's just too hard hitting. So I was like, okay, so this strain, that's the strain I'm gonna use. It just hits your head too hard. And then I was like, okay, so what do I need to do? I need a PTSD medicine added to that so that it'll hit your hard so fucking hard and it'll take that PTSD terpene profile, whatever it is, and just slam it in your fucking head. And like anti-anxiety, anti-PTSD, all that. So I chose a strain, the best strain that was for that, and I had the original genetics, which no one's going to be able to get them because the people who bred this plant, they bred that for a movie, and they can't. I'll even say it. It was Pineapple Express. That was one of them, and you'll never get the Pineapple Express I have. I have the original seeds that came out when the seeds first came out, and it was going out amongst the dealers. This is when it wasn't legal, and it was out with the dealers and stuff. So I got the seeds. I wasn't dealing or anything, but like I said before, my guy was cool, and he gave you some seed if you got a certain amount. You had to get like you had to get like a bunch of ounces off them, and you get some seed. So I got some of the seed. I always kept them kind of as little keepsakes to that thing. So I had the original, and I feminized that plant. So I got a bunch of feminized ones of the original. Now the original Pineapple Express, if you can find it, like see the picture of the pineapple and all that advertisement with the pineapple. The reason why they do that is because the original one tastes exactly like pineapple. It smells and tastes exactly like pineapple, and it becomes pink and red. It's a pink and red pheno, and I've got the pink and the red. People think their shit's pink. Anytime someone says their bud's pink, you can tell them that actually, if you grew it outside, this thing, it'll turn red, like blood red. And then when you press that stuff out, you'll press like blood red in your rosin. It's the coolest stuff. I have a video of that. Maybe I have to find it. So you can. Personally, though, I don't like the taste, and it can be a little too like weird for me. But it tastes good, but it's just I don't know. It's a different type of medicine, that stuff that comes off of there. It's supposed to be really good for you though. Color stuff. Well, anyway, to the whole point of this is which I completely lost what I was saying. Let me take this smoke. So the red created with the Pineapple Express is that part that went into it, and it was high potency THC. So this made me remember what I was doing. This weed is so good, I remembered as soon as I hit it what I was going to say. So the Pineapple Express is one of the peanuts going into it, and that was the high potent, um, hard hitting, anti PTSD one that was fucking amazing. And that's what I can say with that. Um, the other ones I might keep proprietary. I might not say. You know what I mean? Just keep it good. I mean, if you want to really know, I said it in my past videos so many times. If you listen to me, And you can always find that information. But um, even though I think no one could recreate it, I would say the Pineapple Express was also an amazing Pineapple Express. I was thinking about giving my Pineapple Express out, but now I'm like, people could like, they could might be able to recreate something that I did here using that because it's the most frostiest thing you've ever seen. It's like pure frost sugar stuff. And then that bud, I remember it was a shrinker too, and they were both shrinkers. And then the other plant was like a cross that I did, but it shrunk. So they all had this shrinking ability to them, and it um, definitely is the formula I said in the last one. You want the bud size. Your bud size has to be a certain bud size, and that bud size has to be full of crystals and stuff, and it's gotta be packed full of that stuff if you want to really get it to work good with this method I'm telling you. And then what you gotta do is you gotta then find something that's like that. Finishes insanely frosted, but will shrink. And in order to find the shrinkers, you gotta do the trim job that I just explained to you in the beginning of this video. So you're gonna want to listen to the video. I try not to waste any time, even though it's probably a long video. But the trim job, you find the shrinkers. If you don't have it working right, try breeding shrinkers into high potent plants. Try to find the shrinker. That's how we're going to get 50% plus 60%, 70% cannabis in the bud without doing anything to it except drying and curing. We're not going to get the 50%. We're not going to get the 50% on the plant. We're not going to get it. We've been chasing the wrong. I figured it out. It's the dry and the cure. It's the shrinkage, and it's possible. I'm showing you right here. As you see, here's just demonstrating for anyone when they get my clone of this, you pass it around or whatever. Though this clone here this is how you have to do it. This is how it's done. And if you don't do that process that I said, it's not going to work. And I showed you the process of what's going on inside the flower that also has to happen. And there is another video of me cracking the bud open, and you see how the ooze in that video was kind of a tan color. Well, it was a more of a darker color. That could have been because that was one of the bee spots where I had the bee seeds, and maybe it got a little extra terpene. I can tell you that I smoked all of that before it even got into the jars. That was so good. So I don't know what it would have turned into. And the only reason why I know what I got here is because I just happened to not smoke it all and have it make it through the curing process that I've been doing. So which is why I need a lot more, because what is this going to do 6-month cure? What's it going to do in a 2-year cure? What's this going to do, man? I remember I was discussing this with my father over the phone and stuff, and he was saying something about, well, a lot of different wines, it's even better the longer they age. Maybe it could be something like that. And I was thinking that's true. Whereas weed that's aged that has too much plant material in it, it might get fucked up like easier or faster in like an age where it's like a 1-year age or a 2-year age. But like maybe like something like this where it's like it's almost all like THC crystals and rosin and everything, and the plant material just went through some wormhole like shrinkage process that I've never seen before. Like I can't believe it. And now you might say, well, did you feed it anything weird? Did you do anything weird when you grew it? Where did you feed the plant? I mean, it's going off of the plant thing in the soil out there. I mean, I put magnetite dust in my soil. That doesn't really do much. Um, like compared to how much stuff people like, I've given it like my minuscule amounts of fish shit, that supplement called fish shit, minuscule amounts of it. I mean, I'll admit, like it, I like the aroma and stuff with the plant when you give it. It makes the plant smell more of it should. You know what I mean? Uh, but really, man, I had the tiny bottle of it for a big garden. I was only like micro dosing that right to the root every great while. You know what I mean? I mean, what did I give it? I sprayed it down with like gold nanoparticles, and like I fed it some gold nanoparticles at like 0.03 mn nanometer. I, I mean, that wouldn't really. I mean, because I've seen this result. I've seen it. I've seen the result every year I've done it. But again, I just smoke it all before I can even get to anything. And I am growing better. That last year was probably the best I've ever grown this plant, like outdoors. Only because my skills got better because I was listening to Grow Boss and stuff, which meant that, dude, I wasn't doing all these crazy teas. I wasn't feeding it teas. I wasn't spraying it down with foliar tea sprays and doing all this wacky, stupid shit. I like, what did I give it? I gave it like pure protein, fish emulsionizer stuff. You know, you can growyourgreens.com, grow your greens. Look it up, the guy on YouTube. Fish pure protein, it's called. I gave it some of that. Okay, I did foliar feed with pure protein. I take that back. I foliar feed maybe once or twice with pure protein, and that stuff's good. I like it. Um, what else did I do? Uh, uh, mm, I don't know. What nutrients did I feed my plants last year? I gave it some wood ash. I gave it some like carbon charcoal stuff I put on the ground. Um, I put some scoops of extra cow manure compost. I guess that I guess that helps. Um, let's see, what else did I do? Uh, that's why it was such a boring year last year. I didn't make much videos. Like, what am I going to show you guys? It's a freaking plant growing outside. That's why it's like this is special because I didn't do anything special to it to get to do this. I didn't feed it any banana juice that I used to do. I didn't do any weird shit. I didn't do any of that. If I gave it any sugar at the end, I only gave it like once, like a little bit of I gave it a little bit of white sugar. Not brown sugar. I just gave it white sugar, just a little bit. I also for like a bloom booster, I use Beastie Bloom. I believe it's a 50/30 or something like that. 0 50/30. I gave it that. So that was that. I mean, I sprayed them down with what was it? It's that algae that you take as a supplement, Chlorella spirulina. I sprayed it down with Chlorella spirulina, and that's how you make sure you never get powdered mildew in your garden. I do it every year. I do it before the powdered mildew comes. You want to spray your plants down with it. You want to spray it right on your plant's root area all over the ground around the plant where you think the roots will go, and everywhere. And then with that chlorella spirulina, I don't know what it does, if it like overproduces itself, or if it actually eats the mildew in the ground and stuff. But you just don't get it. It'll just never show up. And I learned this because a long time ago, like years ago, back when I used to get it every once in a while, I learned how to cure white mildew by using the chlorella spirulina tablets. It's like Sun Food Corporation Superfoods. It's like for human consumption. Like you eat it yourself, you crush the pills up, you mix it with some water, and you spray your plants down. There it is. Again, this is Laffy Taffy right here. That is Snickers bar. Snickers bar. I'll wrap everything up at the end. For those that missed the other videos. Now we can look in this part of the clip. There's like almost weird looking like sticky things in the bud. Like look at that long thing sticking out right there. Look at the way that looks. It just looks completely alien. Almost like, where did the bud go? Why is there so much crystal? And like I was saying before, like the rosin and stuff, like it's been like, this might even be like a fossilized in THC. Like it shrunk and it like departed. It's not departed, it's still there. Because if you look, you can see that like the green's there, kind of. But like it's like fossilized in like THC and just rosin. And you look at the color of the stuff on my finger with the gloves compared to that on the plant that I'm breaking open, it's the same color. So it is the rosin. It is the rosin. And you, like I said, you break it open, but let's see if I, yeah, definitely got that shit working good. Oozing like that. So let's take it back to this over here. No need to be a dead horse. Let's get this video down. So you can get the results like this. Now let's talk about the rosin. Now here's a rosin video I did as a short. I got some nice freaking views on that. I guess I gotta make some more of these shorts. I'd like to thank YouTube for allowing me to go live on my mobile devices and post shorts without having even near 1,000 subscribers. That was cool of them to do for me. But here we go. So this is like 2 grams pressing. Now what I'm gonna have to do is do a proper video where I actually show the weighing of the material and all this, and then the final weight of the stuff coming out. Look at that! You gotta love it. I'm gonna see if I can get close. How close can we get? I want you to look like right here. We'll go way up over here. So watch. See how like it's like that color there, but watch. You'll notice it getting whiter and whiter. See that white spot forming there? That's the actual like isolate coming out of it. There's so much THC in there. That's like the THC isolate. There's so much of that that it doesn't even have time to mix in with all the terpene stuff that gives it kind of like the golden color. You know what I mean? And if you see, I like to show you like if like you want to do this right, you want to do it like in an expert way, I'll tell you and explain it to you right now. Like I shouldn't have done it like this. Now see it coming out right now? I should have immediately collected that. I should have had something right there to collect all that and separate that from the heat. And when this was coming out here, I should have scooped that out. All right, hold on, the phone's ringing. Man, it's 800. That's a 1-800 number. Damn telemarketers screwed my weed up. All right, let's just do this again. All right, so as we saw before, you want to collect all that. See that running down there? Now look, now watch what happens to this. You also want to scoop all that out, like now, when it gets to a certain point. Because like the hotter it stays with all this stuff, like it's gonna darken up. You want to stay that light color. Like if you were to leave this on here near all this heat, it will darken it on you, which you don't want. I wasn't able to show those two drops over there drip down. Those actually drip down, but I had to stop the video because this was gonna run off, and I needed to grab it. I wasn't expecting it to run like that. But that's what I'm saying. Like this thing is like half of it's fucking THC or some shit because of how small it shrunk and stuff. So half the buds are like THC, and you can press out a ton of fucking rosin with it. Now, but the only downside to it is, but it's not a downside. The whole thing about, let's say you're trying to put on a lot of weight, you think you're gonna get to where you're gonna be with a lot of weight if you're like in the business of growing weed like legally, and you're doing this like illegally commercially for a business. So you might get caught up in that. Oh, I want my buds to not shrink because I'm gonna get less product from it. But here's the thing that you're gonna miss out on though. That now everyone's got stuff like that now. Everyone's got it. Everyone's selling it. Everyone's got it. And people aren't gonna even. People are lucky if they get $1,000 a pound now. You know what I mean? You'll talk to people like people in Michigan. I mean, that the market's there. The market's in Colorado. The market's in where? I don't know how the Arizona markets are, but dude, you could get a pound for $1,000, and it'll be better than the stuff where you're at. So it's like, dude, these people, they're not going to make any money because they'll get 500 pounds. Like, now I was saying this before, they're not going to be able to stop interstate commerce. It's just a fact of the matter. States aren't going to be able to do it. So you're going to have states like Michigan where you'll have like $500 pounds, and it'll be better weed than the fucking shit that's grown in the state. And that where the if you were doing business in Massachusetts and you own a shop, who are you going to buy the weed from? You're going to spend more money for weed that's not as good, or are you going to spend less money on better weed? You're going to spend less money on better weed. And they could even advertise it as like, oh, Michigan marijuana, and the only, you know what I mean? And people say, oh, I'm sick of smoking Massachusetts weed. Let's try that. You know what I mean? So they're screwing themselves in the state by how they're doing things. But with this or something like this, you can then sell a pound for more. So you'll make more money growing this stuff, even though it shrinks into less, because per pound you can sell it for more because it's an insanely like freak. It's a freak, or I think this is the future. People probably came across strains like this, but they didn't breed high potency into it, or maybe the fluke didn't happen. I don't know. But I had a fluke happen, and it shrinks and it's like full of crystals and it does crazy stuff. So we'll go back to the beginning. I'll do a celebratory and shout out to Nug Smasher. I mean, this is the Nug Smasher OG, and you can get a lot of fucking bud on that. You can get a lot. They're pretty good. They were gonna upgrade me. They'll even upgrade you to the better model, and they'll take off when you send them back your original. They'll give you that as a price that you can use for the next one. It's so awesome. But I was gonna do it to get the awesome one that was more expensive. But I'm telling you, the OG, it's better than the smaller one that they claim is portable. The OG, in my opinion, is the most portable one. Maybe not as portable, but you get to press more. This is so easy just to throw in the back of your car or something and like strap it in. You know what I mean? You could take it to work, plug it in, press stuff for people. Like let's say you went to a convention. This is perfect right here. If you were going to a convention, I wouldn't get the small one. I would get the OG. I get the OG and I just carry that to the places and it might be a little heavier, but dude, it's so worth it. So worth it. Because you can press more. Having more to press, I mean, it's just like less of a pain in the ass. You know what I mean? Now, again, if you had this type of high cannabis strain and the small press, you could get a lot of you could get a lot out of it. If I did this in one of the ones, if I put like, dude, if I did this and I put what, a quarter in the friggin' bag, the press bag, and did it, or a half ounce, oh my god. But I probably need a more powerful press. I don't know. I've done half ounce presses with shitty weed on this press just to like, do something with it. But like with like a strain that wasn't that potent, and like you get a good amount. But I'm thinking like you get the ones that are like really good that are meant to press like big weight, and then you press like a half ounce, dude, it's gonna be so much better. Because the faster you do it, the more it's gonna come out better. So let's go back to the beginning. Yeah, this is the beginning one. Oh no, this is the beginning one. Okay, so I mean, what sparked this right here in this video right here? I remember there was a Mendo Dope video, and they were showing their thing, and they were saying that they have like diamonds in weed. They said something like, "Do you have diamonds in your weed?" Or they said something funny like that, like because it was covered with frost. But then I was like, I've seen the inside of my shit sparkle like that. Like I've actually seen that on my dried bud. So I remember I made this bud. Now this is what the weed should look like inside the bud when you have it and it's dried and maybe it's going through the bag cure. So the bag cure uses Reynolds oven turkey bags. Wow. Uses Reynolds oven turkey bags. and you once they're dried, you cut the buds off the stick, and you put that inside these oven bags after you do the final trim to it. There shouldn't really be a final trim, but you want to do another one. Get everything you can. Like I said, you want to listen to the trim cure video in the beginning. So, hopefully my fire's not going out. Ooh, wow, snow's falling. Yeah, it's snowing pretty good out right now. All right, so you follow that rule. Inside the bud should look like this. Oh, I'll just drink some tea. Ah. Inside the bud should look like this. And I'll show you right here. You want to see that. See that sparkling? See the way it looks. See the way you can still see the plant material on it and stuff? It hasn't fully shrunk and gone through the shrinking. It's hard to catch this thing. It's just it's such a I should have done a longer version. I was trying to do a short, but now that I can do shorts, I should upload this as a short. It might already be a short. See that shit right there? That's what you want. Now notice the plant material on that, right? Because it's fresh, kind of, you know what I mean? It's just starting to go through the bag here. Hasn't completely shrunk yet. Process of densing up and shrinking has come in. You might say, wow, this bud's done. No, it's not. It's not done at all. That's where the magic will happen. When you see that shit in there, you know there's some shit. And you got a shrinker. So this is how you do it when you get this cultivar. So then you're gonna get something like this. Now this is the same thing. It's gone through it. The plant material itself is just like undescribable. It feels soft like it, and if you see these different colors, those are actually like purple hues and stuff. The plant will give like nice purple colors. It'll change color. It'll autumn. So this one had nice autumning in the buds and in the thing. So just bear that in mind when we look at the final product of what might actually be the bud and what might not be the bud. You know what I mean? Because something green, it might not be green. You know what I mean? But we'll look here. So this is still the bag cure. It's still going through it. This is when you know like you're going this is the bag cure real good. This was like a hype video I made for like my 2023 grow season. See the goop? See how it goops like that? And now look at the inside of it. Stop it right there. Look at the inside of this thing. You can see it's already the inside's already densed up and shrunken and starting to shrink at the core. And you can see how it's like, do we even see any bud in there? It's just all goop. It's all goop and then that weird like goop material shit. See that? It's like just trike shit. It's just all trike shit. Like, do we even see any leaf in that? Now, see that big long leaf right there with all those trikes on it, right, sticking up front? I mean, again, that comes off during the cure process. All this shit on the outside is gonna break off. That's why I'm telling you guys, like, when you're doing this, when you're doing the trike checks on the outside, And if you still want to do the trike checks and you still believe in the trike checks, maybe you could try modifying the trike check a little bit and trying this out, which is with the trike check you want to check out is inside of the trike. Split open a bud, look on the inside and see what you see on the inside. Because those are the trikes that you want to check, because those are the ones that are going to be alive. Well, not alive. They're going to survive the cure process. All that stuff on the outside is going to break off, sadly. It makes good, like, hash, you know what I mean? It makes great hash, you know what I mean? But if I can figure out how to preserve the outside, I'll let you know. But as of now, that's one sad thing about the process. Now look, as we see, like, you can see it starting to hunk up. And we can see, like, is there really any bud left anymore now? As it's shrinking with the bag care, it's like the shrink process definitely happens here. And it shrinks, but it still kind of has that, like, a little bit of squish moisture. You see how it's still squishing? But it's not squishing because it's wet. It's squishing because of the amount of rosin and stuff that's just squishing and stuff. It's just squishing like that because of that. See what I'm saying? Look at that. Look at this. All right, so now we got this right here. It's a good view of the outside of it. Big difference from the last time you saw it, right? Looks way different. Notice how the leaf material kind of like pulled in. It pulled in, but again, the THC and the crystal stuff, that can only shrink so much. So the plant material is like shrinking, and the THC stuff is kind of like fossilizing the weed. It's like a weed fossil, but it's all THC. Because one substance is replacing where the other substance shell was and holding its structure together because it's like sticky and, like, you know what I mean, consistent. Plus there's like this weird skeletal structure of the bud itself and like the original plant material that's still kind of like holding it together, you know what I mean? Even though it's shrunk, there's still like the shrunken part still holding it, you know what I mean? So you see that. Now, oh man, yeah, that's good. All right. See how it twists like that? Just the behavior of it. Just the behavior of it. Just the behavior of it. So, let's go to the next one. This is what's finished. Finish the jar care now. I didn't get the spot where you transition from that phase to this phase. But when you transition them to the jar phase, they want to be fully cured. We're talking like 2 months in that bag. You want dry, but not too dry. You want to be able to snap it. You don't want the snap. You notice how that didn't have the snap? Because it was still in the process of the bag care. And you don't keep it sealed in that bag. You do have to like keep it open and let it like air out. You know what I mean? You gotta do it. And the weight's important too. You got to have the weight to put in the bag to get it all to be really good, like a pound or like QP or like no, not QP. You definitely want like well QP would probably work, but I mean the more you have in there doing its thing, the more terpenes when they release will get infused back into the plants. If it's just a little bit, it's easier for them to escape. Like you want overwhelmed with terpenes in there. You know what I mean? While releasing the moisture. So then you get something like this. It's dry. Look how dry and hard it is after the bag. Look at it snaps. Now I'm gonna have to zoom in because it's easier to see on YouTube zoomed in. See that? See the taffy in this? It's like a Snickers bar. See that? I'll show you in the next video. It happens as soon as you snap it. It's just hard to capture it. See that shit right there is so nice. Now we can kind of study the bud. It looks like the other one, right? It looks like what we saw before, only it's like really, really small. And it has the same kind of like structure to it on the outside. And it's not soft, you know what I mean? It's dense, but it's not like dry. See that? Let's see if we can take a peek inside. I guess that's as close as I can get. It's as close as I can get. The glove. See, the shadowing is difficult because it can play tricks on your eyes. Like, you can see, like, see how it, like, kind of, like, shadows. I just need a better, high quality, like, video. It would be awesome if we could really zoom in on this and just study what the heck's going on here. Because, like, that looks like a hair structure there. You can see where the dark purple spots were. Look up there. There's two little spots green there. You can see that. So now, look at that. Look at the goo. Look at the goo. Again, that little stick right there you want to cut off, and you see that thing? That's a seed. Looks like a seed sticking there. You can see a seed in the next video. Alright, we'll finish it off with this video. See the seed? Now it'll break like a Snickers. I'll show you the break. Look at that. Look at that. See it? As soon as I broke it open, it did. Stretchy stuff, man. Look at that goop. I'm gonna try to use an iPhone next time, the new one, see how it films. Look at that. It's beautiful. So that's what you want it to look like. again. We can look at the structure of the bud. It's just shrunken up. Absolutely shrunken. With the weird skeletal structure like it had before in the other one. Well, this is where I'll end this one. And I'll try to give more topics of what I actually did and how to achieve certain things when you grow outdoors. Like one of the things I did was I had a netting over the plants. I believe that helped block out some of the negative sun rays on it that might even hurt the terpenes and stuff. You know what I mean? You don't want it too hot. Keep that in mind. So um, there is a way to do it. So when you do get it, I mean, it's possible to get this, and this should be the standard. I didn't do anything special to the plant, so I'll talk more about what I do to the plant. Maybe show you some cuttings and clones and things like that of this specific phenotype, the high cultivar. I'll end this one.